Hello, real estate friends. Welcome back to my channel for real estate agents and entrepreneurs that want to get to the next level of sales success. I can help you climb that ladder and avoid a lot of the pitfalls. In this video, I have 5 tips for you to grow your business. These tips will help you build a reliable follow-up system which will guarantee that you get results going forward. So these are all for the future leads that you generate. This is especially helpful if you're brand new in the business, or if your lead pipeline has gaps, or if you're an agent who wants to make the leap to the next level of productivity. Maybe you're doing 20 units and you want to get to 40. This will help you do that. Because on this channel, our focus is to help real estate agents grow their brand and to help agents get to their goals, whatever they may be. Some agents might have goals where they want to make some supplemental income, more part-time, or some agents want to make a leap, or some agents are just getting started. So any which way, I'm here to help you grow personally and professionally in 2022. So keep on watching. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single thing when we post it, which is often nowadays. So we're having all kinds of really great content, great business building tips, and I'm looking forward to helping as many agents as possible. As you know, as a real estate agent, the competition is fierce to get new clients. And when I first started in real estate, I was very good at generating leads, but I was not good at following up. Had a terrible time of taking down the details, the customer information, that kind of thing. And I needed many systems, but first what I needed was a follow-up system. And I figured out how to be strategic with my follow-up, and that it wasn't just about generating the lead, but it's about converting the lead. So a lot of agents are okay at generating, but how's your follow-up and follow-through? And you need to turn that lead into a client ultimately. You can fast-track your business if you're organized and strategic. So here are the 5 pillars to create a winning follow-up system to get you the kind of success that you know that you're capable of. And you might be kind of hitting the wall or hitting the ceiling right now, but we'll be able to get you through that with some of these tips. If you have any questions or comments and would like to leave those below, I would be happy, and I answer all of them. And I love helping the agents build their brands and build their businesses. So let's get some conversation started, and let's get to the 5 tips of follow-up. The very first tip is to grow your lead generation pipeline. In order to follow up with anybody, you need to have customers to follow up with. So you need a lead generation system to begin with. I did a video not too long ago where I have the top 10 lead sources on how to generate really great leads from all kinds of venues. So check out the link below. I have a complete video where it'll go through the top 10 lead generation sources. So start there, but they go hand in hand, lead gen and lead follow-up, of course. Every agent that makes it, they absolutely know that you need to choose your lead sources very wisely. So are you going to go big league in the digital marketing, or are you going to do more bootstrap, door knocking and cold calling, things like that? You're going to rely on your gravitas as your SEO is concerned and the people that already know and trust you. It's up to you. It's your business, right? So that's the beauty of being in real estate, is that you get to choose all of these things. But you have to understand what you're really selling, and what you're really selling is yourself. You're selling your mind, your intellect, your ability to problem solve. And that's what you're really doing. When you take a listing, you need to solve the equation for the seller. Same thing on the buyer side. So that's what you get paid to do. So just know that you are that brand, and that's what you're really promoting. And the commodity that you're selling is the house, essentially. So the agents that really make it, especially those in the beginning, they devote 80% of their time to lead generation. And even the most successful agents, after you get long established, they devote about 50% of their daily activities towards lead generation. That's how important it is. So watch that lead generation video. That'll really help you. It's in the links below, and it's 100% essential. So don't take that lightly, and just know that in order to be able to follow up, of course, first and foremost, you have to lead generate. Tip number 2 is get the right technology from the start. And you need a tech-enabled database. And do I know agents that are disorganized that get results? Of course I do. Well, the bottom line, though, is that their lives are often chaotic. And the reality is that their pipeline is always chaotic as well, where there's business coming in and then there isn't. And then there's gaps in the finances and there's a struggle all the time. You need a sustainable business, and the lack of a database and operating on your own persona and trying to just do it on post-it notes and things like that, it just doesn't work. It leads to agent fatigue and burnout, and we don't want that, right? The right technology needs to be at the core of every successful real estate agent's business. And the number one most fundamental element of a organized business is a database. You need, it's essential. And there's a lot of agents that don't operate with a database. I mean, I think the majority of, and you could see that they are in disarray all the time, and they're running. Everything is urgent all the time. And, you could just tell that they're frazzled. Who wants that? So to me, in the very beginning, it matters less which database the agent uses. Rather, I'd prefer the one that you are familiar with. And you just got to pick one. And there are literally hundreds and hundreds of CRMs out there. Those are called customer relation management systems. And these are really terrific. They're a little more advanced. Probably not what you want to do coming out of the gate, but it is something you're going to want to do as you build your business. So the CRMs are very powerful. They have a lot of apparatus to it, and we use a lot of it. And I know most agents and agencies don't use the full power. We use the full gamut. We use real geeks for your information. That's what powers our website, and that's what powers our back end. And you don't need that heavy level of tech in the beginning. You could just use Microsoft Outlook. You could use Google Gmail. Those will do just fine as databases. These familiar systems are not as robust as CRMs that are specifically built for real estate, but these will work well as a central database and follow-up system to begin with. As a matter of fact, that's what we did for a decade. We used Outlook, and it worked out just beautifully that way, and then we switched to a CRM. The key benefit to using Outlook is that all your real estate contacts travel with you. They sync between all of your devices, plus you have the capability of creating the all-important follow-up tasks. And this is essential where you don't do it by memory, because you can't. And then you can create notes also within the contact, which makes it very organized, and this will come up on your phone, your tablet, any device you have. And if you generate a lead source, it could be from anywhere, right? It could be from a family member, could be somebody from the grocery store, could be an electronic lead from your social media advertising, depending on what lead sources that you're using. Well, the reality is that 98% of the time, the first interaction with a lead will require follow-up, like almost every single time. And you need a system for that. You see, in real estate, you're always selling the next event. And if you try to go by memory on what you said and who you met, and you don't have that into a database, well, that real estate touch is often overlooked then, and then you have a problem being able to remember, what to do and when to do it next. Very seldom will you get an immediate close on somebody for an appointment or a listing agreement. So 98% of the time, there's going to be follow-up, and there's going to be a lot of it. As a matter of fact, it might take you 5 to 10 follow-ups just to get to the next event, which still might take weeks or months or years to close. So you have to be in it for the long haul with the follow-up. And this is where agents get it wrong all the time. They give up way too quickly. And unless you use an electronic database to keep track of your follow-up tasks, your likelihood of success in following up more than a few times is really difficult to achieve. So don't try to do it from memory. Don't try to do it from post-it notes. Forget about that. You can't scale that, but you can scale an electronic database, and that's what it's important to most is scale. 80% of the real estate agents out there are out of the business within 3 years. And here's a stat for you. 70% did not have a database. Do you see any correlation to that? Get a tech-enabled database. Follow-up tip number 3, your follow-up needs to be scheduled. If it's not on the schedule, it does not exist. But Joe, I got into real estate so I can make my own schedule, remember? Fundamental to any successes in any business is the mastering of the mundane. It's your willingness to do what others are unwilling to do to become successful. And the follow-up is a mundane task, no doubt about it. But so is breathing, so is eating, so is taking a shower. You do it though, don't you? So if you want to be successful, you have to master that. A systematic approach coupled with the desire, you need a burning desire, you got to be driven to succeed, is what you need. If your why is big enough, then the how becomes easy. The how in real estate is great follow-up. Remember this, the fortune in the sale is in the follow-up. So, for example, my company gets a new lead from any of the electronic sources, Instagram or Facebook or Google. The company has an electronic database system in place to immediately follow up with that lead within seconds of the inquiry. How quickly are you following up? Speed to lead is hugely important. If there's no follow-up from you as the agent with that lead within 5 minutes of its arrival, guess what? Your chance of converting that lead slips so far away so quickly, it's almost into oblivion at that point. It drops dramatically. Our first response is an automatic text, followed by an email 10 minutes later, followed by a phone call a few hours later. So this all happens electronically, and it all happens automatically, and it happens every single time. If you're not doing these kinds of things, you're missing opportunities. And then we follow up with another text on the first day later that evening. This sequence continues in varying forms for 10 consecutive days. That's the number of touches. Of course, the goal is to make a connection with the lead, and when we do make a connection, then there's another path that we follow. We don't keep going and going when we connect. That would be, not, advantageous. So if you do make a connection with the lead, then the follow-up path begins in a different route, more towards, getting to sign a buyer's agreement or to a listing agreement. But most agents typically do not have sophisticated CRMs or answering systems or auto responders, which our company database has. The CRM is the centerpiece of our company, and it's taking a lot of hard work to build that. Let me tell you, I don't know how many thousands of hours we've put into that, but that's what it takes to build something that's really a model that will produce a reliable result all the time. So that system takes care of a lot of the auto emails and texts, and just keeps my CCs who operate the phones and call the public, keeps them on track that way. I recommend that new agents that are aggressively generating new leads set aside the proper amount of time to follow up. What we like to do is 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. to lead generate and follow up, and then we do it again 4 to 6 p.m. in the afternoon. But we're following up all day long in reality, but we focus on those hours, and you should be doing the same thing too. But the real big time players in real estate, they prospect and follow up from 10 to noon typically. That could be variable. They do that in the morning to fill their afternoon schedules, whether it be today or the next day or further into the week. They fill up their afternoon schedule with appointments, working with buyers, showing properties, and listing properties. So the follow-up system is essential, and make sure that you stay on track by keeping the data flowing. Tip number 4 is getting the right follow-up mix right from the start. Just remember, it may take dozens and dozens of touches to convert a lead into a real prospect. We're not even talking about showing houses, but turn them into a prospect. A common misconception that agents have is, I don't want to be an annoyance. I'm going to be bothering people. It's inconvenient at this time for them to pick up the phone. Well, this is a mindset issue, and it's an agent mindset issue. And you have to eliminate these self-defeating thoughts because they're simply false. The top producing agents, they know this, that they're firm believers in themselves and these several fundamental things, that they come from a place of service and that they have a specialized local knowledge, that they have the ability to communicate and to solve problems. Many agents believe unless they get an immediate positive feedback from a lead, they should stop and give up. The truth of the matter is that most agents don't follow up at all, and those agents that do only follow up on average 1.5 times, and this is woefully inadequate. Most conversions, lead conversions, where we turn a conversation into a prospect, it occurs after contact 6 to 12. So what happens if you give up at touch number 5? So, you're right on the goal line and you stop? Don't do that. So it could be months or years of follow-up to convert the lead. Are you in it for the long haul, or are you in it for just to stick your toe in the water and try it out? Rarely is the case when a prospect will say to you, stop. And if they do say stop, you just simply pull them off the list and you discontinue. It's really not something that happens often at all, and it's not a big deal. Most of the time you'll get a voicemail response or a no response, and this is no problem at all either. All this means is schedule another follow-up task to sell the next event. So what is the next event on your follow-up schedule? Is it a text? Is it a call? Is it an email? Is it some kind of broker market report update? What is it? You decide. After all, it's your business. You're an entrepreneur. And within our offices, my ISAs experiment all the time with different follow-up combinations and content. The most satisfying part of their job when they are qualifying all day long buyers and sellers are those that they followed up for years and they convert. And next thing you know, me or one of my agents is at a listing appointment because of their diligence. There's nothing that's more exciting to them than that. Do you have that type of discipline? Having a systematic, scheduled approach will make it happen for you. And last tip, number 5, is your attitude. Develop the work ethic and habits of top producers and duplicate what they do. It's really not hard. Just ask them how to do it. They'll tell you. Ask me, I'll tell you. I'm telling you right now. There's a reason why some agents make $100,000 a year. There's a reason why some agents make $500,000 a year, $1 million a year. And there's a reason why the majority fail. It all comes down to what you think about all the time and how you think of yourself. Do you have a healthy ego about yourself, or do you have something that's more pessimistic in your personality? You need to remove that. You need to fight through it. The opportunities you see in real estate are everywhere. And as agents, you get to sell people's most desired asset, real estate. It's fantastic. If you want to make what the top players make, 6 figures or more, potentially way more than that, you need to develop the mindset and habits of a top producer. How do they think? What do they do? What time do they get up in the morning? What are their daily routines? You need to do what they do. And what are they doing that you're not? And the best way I've found to advance my skills is just to ask the top producers, ask other successful people in other industries, well, how in the world did you do that? I talk about that all the time. I'm very curious about that. Great follow-up is usually a new skill for agents, but that's part of the growing process. And growing sometimes is painful, or is it all the time? But you're adapting to new things, and that should be understood. On average, it takes 40 lead conversions to convert to one sale, 40 to 1. So you need 40 lead conversions for one sale. If you know your numbers, then you win the sales game. The truly great salespeople never ever give up. They know every call gets them closer to a yes, and they know that every no gets them closer to a yes. So these are the 5 tips to grow and become a really top-notch real estate follow-up pro. And as we said, the fortune is in the follow-up. And don't forget to check out the lead generation video in the description below. That will set your course on the methods and the tactics that you're going to use to generate those leads to begin with. And don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons so you don't miss a single thing. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you in the next video.